Greetings, brave adventurers! My name is FoxyBard, and I'm back with some RPG horror stories. Today is Friday, which means all we're gonna tell today are horror stories. And today's story is a doozy. It does slightly, kind of, tie into Pride, at least a little bit. Actually, kind of a lot, now that I really think about it. Yeah. This is a pretty gay story, but it does involve one player taking that the exact wrong way and being really, really terrible about it. But I know what all of you are here for. You want that horrible internet cringe. That's all you're after. That's all I'm good for to you guys. That's okay, I don't mind it. I like telling these stories too. It's the Schadenfreude for me. But I'll stop wasting time, so grab yourself a seat around the fire as we dig into some stories of role-playing. Our story today is posted by the user Ferretheim and entitled, "The Time the Problem Player Wasn't the Cat Girl." It is not safe for work and does have a trigger warning associated with it for an amount of queer phobia and an in-character suicide attempt. Now, this was our problem player who was supposedly attempting it, which does take a little bit of the serious nature out of it, but I still felt it necessary to include, just in case that's something anyone may not want to hear. Now, this is an extra long one, so let's get right to it. Tale start. Hello there! I am a veteran of a decades-long TTRPG career, which has left me with a multitude of horror stories and glory stories. This is, despite the tags, one of the better horror stories I had. The game was Pathfinder, 1st edition. Ooh, that's my favorite! Before the occult classes and much, much more, around the time the guide to making your own races came out. The group was one of my first online voice games, as before this I had stuck mainly to play-by-post out of a social anxiety dealing with voice. However, I wanted to deal with this problem head-on and start getting used to voice games and just over the dread that came up from phone calls. The main players in this campaign were myself, the GM, my oldest RPG partner who had followed me from play-by-post to voice games because we gelled in many systems, another play-by-post partner, and then 2 randos we found on Roll20 who seemed to buy into the world. Now, I'm old hat to RPG spheres, even online, and thought I could handle things. In fact, I had gotten rid of the usual red flags, not reading the prompt, being hyper weeaboo-ish, etc. I bring up the weeaboo-ness mainly because this was a homebrew world I was making to be based on Japanese lore. I am of Japanese descent myself, and wanted to turn some yokai and favorite races from fantasy into a world that was Japanese adjacent. I spent a long time crafting the races, so they all balanced out in the race points, or whatever manner the Pathfinder system did, so that no one race would just be better. It's race points. It's not a perfect system, but it's still pretty fun, pretty cool. TLDR, I have a handful of regular races given new cultural outlooks and several new types of races. The world is Japanese adjacent, but not wholly L5R style. That's Legend of the Five Rings. It's a cool system. It's too bad their card game never took off. It was a lot of fun. I don't know where I'm going with this tangent. L5R is cool. The cast begins world building. For now, we are myself, GM, my oldest friend, I'll call Bard, my other friend, I'll call Samurai, Rando number 1, I'll call Witch, and Rando number 2. I'd call something insulting, but let's stick with Rogue. My oldest friend gravitated towards the custom race of Nekomata, a humanoid cat person race. Samurai stuck to human, Witch stuck to human, and Rogue chose elf. Everything went swimmingly in chat before game, and people began tying their backstories together as we were starting at level 3. It was honestly very nice, seemed like it was going to go well, no major red flags or anything, In fact, the first few sessions seemed pretty chill. That was before the seduction attempt. In-game, the players had been searching for a way to get into the crowded camp of bandits and their cruel, vicious leader. The plot was to send in the bard, who would perform rarefied arts to win over the bandits, and try and get some information. The bandits allow the bard and witch in, but the samurai and rogue have to stay at the outskirts until everything proved to be on the up and up. Being clever, using some good enchantment spells to boost successful skill rolls, ends up getting the bard an audience with the bandit leader, who turned out to be a nasty elf lady who was looking to get revenge on blah blah she's evil. She gets drunk. The bard, taking me by surprise, asks to seduce the bandit leader. Why does this surprise me? Bard's player is asexual and aromantic, and has never, in a game I had run with her as a player, played someone with any kind of sex drive. I shrug, say yes, and Bard does really well. I ask what Bard plans to do, and she glibly replies she'll make sure the elf bandit is asleep, without magic. We laugh, fade to black, and since the elf bandit ended up sleeping with the Bard, the other party members were brought in with the bandits being chummy and kind of bro-y about their leader just having a thing for artists. The rogue does what he's supposed to do and sneak attacks the sleeping elf bandit. Bing bang boom, things go well. Then comes the next session. Rogue starts acting weird. Subtle weird. I'll now admit I am asexual too, not aromantic, but I don't flirt naturally or easily, so I didn't pick up on these little hints. Bard didn't either, being even more less interested. Yet Rogue began to start following the Bard around, and even admitted he might start multi-classing if she taught him. Which, in theory, that can be kinda cool, to have, party members teach other party members their skills, have it result in a character moment. I like that. Finally, after a second session, he came out to try and woo Bard. She, in character, is flattered but turns him down with a declaration that she must master her art before she could even think of settling down or even trying to date. Rogue pressures, even stealing an ornamental comb from a courtier to offer Bard as a gift. Bard, again, thanks him, says no, and returns the comb to the courtier. The courtier thanks Bard and invites her to a local dinner at a local official's house, which I was thankful for because I could add hooks here, and the party goes. I pronounced courtier 3 different ways while reading this paragraph, so whatever way you think is wrong, you get to get mad at me for it. Party stops an assassination at the dinner. Courtier NPC is terrified. Her father, the official, is poisoned, and she begs the party to find an antidote. Hook set. By the end of the session, they have gotten the antidote. There's a deeper hook about the rogue's family / ninja clan / something being tied in with animosity to the assassins sent to kill the official. Should be great, until I have the courtier offer to kiss the Bard for her assistance. Note, this was the final scene and was just a simple 5-minute scene of Bard and NPC sitting outside before the kiss. And Bard does so.
Oh, she's a lesbian,
Rogue stated as if everything was finally clear. Bard's player shrugged, and I hoped that this would end the weird behavior / what I now know was ham-fisted flirting. It never does. It never does with guys like this. It finally goes to crap. Buckle up, buckaroos. Boy, that is such an ace thing to say. Rogue is now starting to get itchy to find some magical items. He begins checking if the witch class has transmutation spells, working with witch's player. I don't remember if they did, they have a few, but whatever he was looking for, he didn't find. He is now beginning to chafe a bit. I decide to be generous and throw in a scroll of lesser wish or something akin to a small do what you want button. It wasn't completely broken, I felt, and was in the loot of an evil mage. I forget exactly what the spell was, but it was enough. As the scroll was read, the spell cast, and the wish asked for, I immediately saw what was going to happen. I thought I knew, at least, and this cat is being so vocal today. Rogue.
I wish to be a girl.
Me, slightly hesitant. Okay. Describing spell going off. You're now a woman. Rogue.
Bard, I did this for you. We can now be lovers.
I was flabbergasted. I'm what reactionaries would probably call an SJW because I care about safety at the table, but this was when the X card was the real only safety tool I knew about. I had never seen someone play the long game to be a creep like this. Bard, who I'll always envy for how cool and collected she is under pressure, says, "What do you look like?" Rogue.
Huh?
Bard. What does Rogue look like now? Exactly as you did before? Or did your body change? Rogue. No, I'm not going to describe his wickedly purple prose about how ample his cleavage was and had torn through lacquered armor somehow during the wish. Oh. How his outfit was almost skin tight. Again, lacquered armor strips. And how he was irresistible. He had described a woman's body that would make Jessica Rabbit or Barbie look like a healthy body ideal. Oh, your average anime character. Bard. I'll tell you what I did before. Thanks, but you're not my type. Rogue, in shock that he was turned down.
But you're lesbian!
Bard. I don't know what I am. I've never had any romantic feelings before, but Courtier's personality and love for her family really interests me. I've already composed a poem for her. Rogue.
What? I'm hot!
Samurai Witch and I had been silent during this. My jaw behind the screen had been agape, but I finally spoke up. Okay, Rogue, you're a woman now. The scroll crumbles to dust. Rogue.
I draw my dagger.
I sigh and am about to say he can't attack the bard when he turns the dagger on his character. Rogue.
If you don't believe Courtier, I'm committing ritual suicide.
Me. What? Rogue.
I'm a freak now. I did all this for you and you're making me do this.
I feel like this guy's now impossible to understand in this. I'm sorry. All of us. Either stunned silence or... What? Again. Rogue.
This will restore my honor. I drive the dagger into my heart.
Me. No, you don't. Rogue. Back to screaming. Oh, my poor voice.
This is based on Japan. They have ritual suicide. And I don't want to pay.
Insert a slur for a transgender person of your choice here. What can I say but yikes. Samurai. Dude, not cool. It was the only thing said for a moment, though Rogue's heavy breathing was coming through his mic. Oh good, I'm doing his voice accurately then. Me. I don't think you're the right fit that I thought you were, Rogue. Rogue.
But I'm a guy!
This is becoming ridiculous. Oh. I was already in the process of banning him from the chat when he said that. Good on you. It was the last thing I ever heard him say. We sat stunned for a few more moments. I apologized and said I'd probably not be able to continue this campaign without rearranging some things to strip what Rogue had been doing from the world, but that I'd try to continue. Really all you can do here. Bard. Wow, you're such a nice guy. Oh no, he's a guy. I've been giving him a woman's voice. Oh well. Thankfully, that session ended with all of us laughing. The campaign didn't finish. We petered out. But I am still strong friends with Bard. Samurai moved to Europe after her time in college, and I gave her a man's voice, damn it. And Rando number 1 and I still talk now and again, but he's mostly into D&D, while I prefer D6 and D10 systems. Extreme TLDR. Cunning, nice guy throws fit when his magical sex change doesn't win him a cat girl geisha. Whew, tail end. Told you that was a long one. And I can't believe that I did the wrong voices for 2 different characters. Oh well, just pretend that their voices were swapped. It's fine. It's whatever. I really do feel for both Bard and the OP in this one, because I'm actually on the asexual spectrum myself. I'm demisexual, which is basically I can't find anyone sexually attractive until I have some kind of strong emotional connection with them. It's just how I am. So, someone being, kind of pushy is always just so annoying. Like, come on, dude, take a hint. Now, I do think that the DM handled this about as well as possible, because another player trying to pursue a romantic subplot with another player is perfectly fine in a lot of games, if it's something that everyone's okay with. So there wasn't really any red flags at that point, but as soon as the red flags came out, yeah, banning him was the right call, God, especially if he's throwing slurs around. Ugh, come on. Huge props to the other players for standing up for their friends and not just going along with the rogue's stupid shenanigans. So, yeah, good job everyone, honestly. Everyone except the rogue in this story is awesome, and I love all of you. Plus, an Arrow Ace player playing a horny bard? Ugh, that's just great. That's a power move right there. So, the moral of the story today is don't go to weird extremes to try to win over another player character, and accept that sometimes you just get turned down, and that's okay. Oh, also, don't use slurs. I don't feel like that one should have to be something I need to say, but apparently, sometimes I do. And if you see this kind of behavior in your own games, kicking someone out when they're causing problems is not only a good idea, it's a perfectly acceptable and correct thing to do. RPGs are escapism. We go to them to get away from the problems of the real world sometimes, and not everybody wants to deal with that same stuff, like homophobia and ace phobia. None of that deserves a place in RPGs. But that will do it for today. This was a really long story, so just the one for now. Don't forget to like the video if you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done so. I'm trying to hit 1,000. That would be great, because then I can get in on the Dice Goblins RPG sessions with some of the other creators. It'll be a lot of fun. Also, if you'd like to join, we do have an official FoxyBard community Discord server. Link is in the description below. And please, as always, let me know what you thought in the comments below, either about this video, about other videos, or just anything to do with the channel. Ooh, or you can share some stories of your own. But, for now, let's douse the fire and get back to our own adventures.